Alright, Algebra 2, here we go. 4-5, quadratic equations. Moving on after the quiz yesterday, or this morning. Hopefully you guys are get back in gear here. Essential question here. What are the zeros of quadratic functions? Okay, we just spent the last week or so talking about factoring. Okay, and when we factored, like here, okay, we are setting ourselves up to find the zeros. Well, let's back up a little bit. What are the zeros of a function? Okay, the zeros are of the function. A zero is the x value that makes y 0. Okay, graphically it looks like this. There's your x-axis. Y is 0 there, because we know when you go up, y gets bigger. When you go down, y gets less. So y is 0 on this line. The zeros are the x-coordinates where our graph crosses the y-axis, where y is 0. Okay? So the problems that we've been doing, you've been factoring, and you get something like this, x plus 7 times x minus 2. And since we want to find the 0, we make y 0. Well, how do you get something equal to 0? You either multiply by 0 or they're both 0. Okay? Because you take 0 times x minus 2, you're going to get 0. Or x plus 7 times 0, you're going to get 0 for an answer. So what you do to find the zeros, to find that x coordinate or that x number that makes y 0, you set each of these equal to 0 and solve it like you always would. You would subtract the 7 over, x is negative 7. You would subtract or add the 2 over, you get x is 2. And what you'll notice is these points will match up with those points on the graph. Okay, they have to. Because when you plug in x equal to that, you're going to get 0 for y. And same with the 2. So when you find those 2 points, and it's not always 2 points, but most of the time it's 2 points, those 2 points match up right there. They're what we call the zeros. Because when you plug x equal to negative 7 or x equal to 2 into the equation, you get 0 for y. Okay? So we call those points the zeros. So if you kind of look at what we've been doing and combine the last week with this, solve by factoring to find the zeros, and you get something like this. Okay? Notice the equation in it here now. It's not equal to y. Okay? You got x squared minus 18 equals 3x. First thing you want to do is set it equal to 0. So subtract the 3x over. To keep it in standard form, I do that. So now my equation is equal to 0. Y is 0. The question is, what's x to make y 0? That's where the factoring comes in. Just like we've been doing, whoops, I'm sorry, that's squared. We got a minus minus, so I'm going to get a plus minus in here. Anytime that's minus, you get a plus minus. What factors of 18 differ by 3? 6 and 3. And I need 3 minus 6 gives me negative 3. So my 6 goes with the minus, the 3 here. Then set each factor equal to 0. And solve it. Subtract the 3 over. Or x minus 6 equal to 0. Add the 6 over, x is equal to 6. So by factoring, we get the factors, set each factor equal to 0, because this times this has to be 0, so either one or both are 0. And then in order to get that to be 0, x would be negative 3. In order to get that to be 0, x would equal to 6. And if you went ahead and you looked at the graph of this, I would know that when x is negative 3, or 6, and I got a pause here. I know my graph's going to do this somehow. Okay? And there's my zeros right there. Okay? So we're taking the factoring that we've been doing. Factor your trinomial, or even if it's a difference of 2 squares, whatever it is, factor it, set each factor equal to 0, and those are your zeros for your equation. Alright, we'll look at that some more tomorrow. See you then. Bye.